James Madison defeated Western Kentucky 27-17 in the Boca Raton Bowl, marking the Duke's first-ever bowl win in program history. The game featured an offensive battle between two teams known for their contrasting styles. Western Kentucky, led by quarterback Caden Veltkamp, showcased their potent passing game, while James Madison relied on their ground attack and resilient defense. First quarter. The game began with James Madison taking an early lead thanks to freshman quarterback J.C. Evans, who stepped in as a backup to ignite the offense. Evans rushed for 27 yards on a key play, setting up his 7-yard touchdown run. The Dukes dominated the ground game in the first quarter, gaining 73 of their 88 total yards on the ground. Their defense forced a Western Kentucky fumble, preventing the Hilltoppers from scoring. At the end of the first quarter, James Madison led 7-0. Second quarter. Western Kentucky responded in the second quarter as Veltkamp found his rhythm. He threw a 17-yard touchdown pass to Musa Berry, tying the game 7-7. The Hilltoppers' defense also tightened, giving their offense more opportunities. Veltkamp capped off a late drive with an 11-yard touchdown pass to Dalvin Smith, putting Western Kentucky ahead 14-7 just before halftime. The Hilltoppers had a 163-yard passing performance in the first half, while James Madison struggled in the air, with 2 missed field goal attempts further hurting their chances. Third quarter. Coming out of halftime, James Madison found their groove. The Dukes capitalized on a Western Kentucky miscue when a failed trick play resulted in a fumble, recovered deep in Hilltopper territory. This turnover allowed the Dukes to regain the lead with a 28-yard field goal by No Ruelas. Later in the quarter, J.C. Evans connected with Chi Wright for a 1-yard touchdown pass, tying the game 14-14. The Dukes controlled the pace, adding 10 points in the quarter and entering the final period with a narrow 17-14 lead. Fourth quarter. The game intensified in the fourth quarter as both teams traded blows. Western Kentucky tied the game at 17-17 with a 31-yard field goal by Justin Khairi. However, James Madison surged ahead when Billy Atkins connected with Taylor Thompson on a 21-yard touchdown pass, giving the Dukes a 24-17 lead with 9 minutes left. The Hilltoppers attempted to rally, but the James Madison defense applied relentless pressure. Khairi Manns made a game-changing play, forcing a fumble on Veltkamp and recovering it late. The Dukes capitalized on the turnover, adding a field goal to seal the victory at 27-17. Veltkamp ended the game with 302 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, but James Madison's defense overwhelmed the Hilltoppers in the final minutes. Key performances. James Madison's offense was led by Billy Atkins, who threw for 182 yards and a touchdown. On the ground, the Dukes accumulated 214 rushing yards, with contributions from multiple players. J.C. Evans played a critical role with his arm and legs, keeping the Hilltoppers' defense off balance. Western Kentucky's Caden Veltkamp, the Conference USA Player of the Year, delivered a strong performance despite announcing his entry into the transfer portal before the game. He threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, but turnovers and the lack of a consistent running game hindered the Hilltoppers' chances. Historical significance. This Boca Raton Bowl marked the first-ever meeting between Western Kentucky and James Madison. The Dukes' victory was monumental, as it was their first bowl win in program history, a milestone for the relatively young FBS team. The bigger picture. The game highlighted the impact of player movement through the transfer portal. Both teams dealt with roster changes that affected their depth and performance. Key player departures compounded Western Kentucky's offensive struggles, while James Madison's next man up approach effectively overcame challenges. Odds and predictions. Heading into the game, James Madison was favored by 7 points, with most experts picking them to win. The Dukes met expectations and showcased a balanced attack and strong defensive play to secure the win. Final thoughts. The Boca Raton Bowl demonstrated the evolving nature of college football, with teams adapting to player movement and rising competition. James Madison's victory capped off a successful season and set the stage for the program's continued growth in the FBS. Meanwhile, Western Kentucky looks ahead to rebuilding and retooling its roster as it prepares for next season's challenges.